Hey, how's it going? It's going to be going pretty good next week by the look of it, because we have got the end of Mercury retrograde, and this brings to an end a lot of the anxieties, a lot of the general craziness and things just not working out for reasons you can't understand that's been going on for quite a long time really, but particularly over the festive season, because Mercury is actually going to station direct Wednesday the 18th, so that's only a couple of days away as we speak, and it's going to be in 8 degrees of Capricorn. The whole Mercury retrograde was actually in Capricorn, and Capricorn, very tough energy, very immovable energy, just like the goat that represents Capricorn for a reason. So really hard to kind of change anything or make anything different. More about that though in a second. We'll take a deeper look at that. As we look at next week ahead, which at the moment is going to be January the 16th to the 22nd, it's, well, you know, there's a new moon in Aquarius. That's really the big astrological event of the week. And that's going to be in conjunction with Pluto in Capricorn. So Capricorn has not finished its general being in the way of things yet, believe me. But it's also going to sextile Jupiter in Aries, and it's going to trine Mars in Gemini. And those are both quite favourable, quite positive alignments, really. So it's going to be a day, when we get to next Saturday anyway, bursting with sort of passion, confidence, enthusiasm, that kind of thing. And the energy of the week in front of us is actually pretty much in keeping with that. It's not a great time for signing contracts, making important decisions, negotiations, maybe even starting relationships, until we get to Wednesday. So the first half of the week is still tricky, but then Mercury is still actually going to be retrograde at that time. But after that, all the personal planets are actually going to be direct for the first time since late October. So there's a big change there. And the pace of life is actually going to start flowing again, which has to be good news. It's a pretty good time for meeting soulmates and that kind of thing once we get past Wednesday. So there you go, all that kind of crazy, weird, you know, texting exes, all those people who got in touch with you at New Year because they were drunk and it seemed like a good idea at the time. That's probably not going to work out, but you might actually find the real deal as we go through next week. So that is really no bad thing. At this moment, the moon is in Libra. Can't remember, but it's about to enter something else a little bit later today. Scorpio, that's it. Yeah, it's so easy to forget these things. Moon's going to enter Scorpio later today. This is Sunday the 15th. So as we go into the week, that's the early influence. We come slightly away from the great balancing effect of Libra to the kind of scratchy, pokey influence of Scorpio. Could be a little bit crazy, but there basically is the energy that starts the week. It gets a whole lot better on Wednesday, and like I say, that Saturday new moon in Aquarius with all those wonderful alignments is really going to make it feel like 2023 is really on the road. You know, Mars retrograde actually ended last week. So it's just, you know, it's easier. There's less anxiety. There's less crazy energy about. And things should be a lot more like what they actually seem, which has to be good news. So let's take a look at the end of Mercury retrograde. When Mercury actually stations direct, communications start having more impact. You know, and they've had plenty of impact when Mercury was retrograde, but not in a positive way. But it's still worth paying attention to, you know, saying things carefully, being careful in your communications, particularly because next week is such a positive week as we get towards the end of it. Maybe we want to sort of look at past decisions and just reevaluate those things, look at things in a new light. That really ought to make all the difference. So there we are. Better days ahead. Not that they've been terrible days. previously, but definitely better days ahead. And next week, Wednesday onwards, a good time actually to get the dating app out and start kind of swiping back and forth and seeing what happens. Just see what happens. I'm not saying it's going to be good. I'm not saying it's going to be positive. Astrology is like that, you know. It still depends entirely on you, and it still depends kind of how you feel and where you're looking in life. But keep on looking up, okay? Because things are looking up next week. That's my advice. Thanks for watching. See you again in a future video. Drop a like on this, hit the subscribe. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.